Hey everybody, it is Comics with Kids. I am John, and I got a box in the mail today, and I've never done an unboxing video, and I don't buy a lot off the internet. I have a few friends on Instagram that I sometimes buy with, but most of the time I know them and they're local, so it's kind of nice when I get something in the mail to open it. But it's not like a huge grail or anything, so I thought it'd be fun to instead use a little time to share a little bit about me, since I've only done a few videos here, and I can show you a little bit of what I've collected over the years. I'm a big Marvel fan, so most of my collection's Marvel. I don't have a lot of slabs. I've never been a big fan of slabbing books, but mostly because I always bought books to read them. And until I downloaded Marvel Unlimited recently, I didn't really have a chance to read books if I didn't buy them. So I never wanted to sort of hermetically seal them. Obviously, there's a value in doing that, and so I've gotten a few over the years, two most recently. But the reality is, I only have 3 slabbed books in my collection, so most of my stuff is in the raw. So I was going to share a few of mine that I've collected. Some of them, like this Tales to Astonish, is just an early Wasp appearance, and somebody really just needed to let it go, and it was a really low price, and I thought, wow, I'm going to pick this up because it's what a great character. I always really liked the Wasp and Ant-Man, and I couldn't resist the price, so I just picked it up. It was the first slab that I ever bought. And then more recently, the 2 that I purchased were a pair that went together. The Spider-Man Death of Gwen Stacy, and then the follow-up battle with the Green Goblin. As a deal, I couldn't say no to the price, and I really do love this particular story. It's part of that silver into copper and bronze that I really love, as far as what Marvel was doing with presenting characters that always seem to face not only real world stuff, but just a lot of failure and struggle, and none of the it's the thing that I always struggled with in DC was that the heroes, as much as I loved Batman, most of the heroes just seem so larger than life, whereas the heroes in Marvel seem so down to earth, and you just could connect to them. So those are the ones I liked. Most specifically, what I loved was the X-Men. And so most of my collections centered around that. I showed you not too long ago I finally got a giant size 1, which was like the grail for me. Like my whole life, I wanted this book, and my wife and I kind of figured out how I could afford to get one, because that's a big purchase for me, and I think it's in really good shape. It has a little break in the spine of it. I think the way they bound these books, if you don't know, because they were so big, the stapling's not like it usually is in the spine. They stapled going this way through the book, which means that the paper is just holding itself on right here. It's easy if you're reading it a lot to get creasing, cracking, and then tearing along the spine. So a lot of giant size X-Men suffer from that. This one has like a tiny little 1/4 of an inch maybe tear there, but that's pretty much the worst of it. It's actually in pretty good shape overall. The color's pretty nice, as you can kind of see there. I think the color still pops real well. I think if I ever wanted to clean and press and send it in, it would probably come out pretty nice. Most of my X-Men are from a little later, but I did get some early ones. Here's First Sentinels, which I love those characters. The Sentinels are like one of my favorite villains, and just to kind of see the way they're used in Marvel has always been so much fun. The X-Men versus the Sentinels, and I've got here this great Neil Adams Sentinels cover, which I've always thought was just super creepy with the like. I love Sentinels in like pink and purple. Like most people would think like a creepy, dangerous robot monster would have like darker colors, but no, I love that they're like these sort of hyper-colored characters. I really, really dig it. And not too long ago, I got a first Spider-Man crossover with the X-Men. So what was it, 2035? Sorry. And I thought this cover was so cool. It's actually my logo on my YouTube, whatever my YouTube logo is. And then the last couple in my first 100 issues of X-Men, I definitely had to get. This is one of the oldest X-Men that I've purchased. I think it was the first thing I bought off eBay. When I finally started doing that in college, I started trying out eBay and just like, oh, can I find any good books? And this was a steal. The only drawback is it has a crease. And I don't know how well you can see it on, oops, I'm like trying to do it here. Yeah, there you can see it. So it starts here and it goes all the way through Nightcrawler's hand. So it's totally a color breaking crease. But it's really the only flaw to the book. It's just at some point somebody must have been a little rough with it. So I just love these characters. The new team when they brought him in, always been one of my favorite things. And then so in my first 100 issues of X-Men, this is another issue that I got that I really love. So I'm working on getting more of those. My favorite X-Men stories are in the like 200 to 300 range. I really like those Uncanny X-Men, and I'm collecting all of them, and I'm close to like maybe needing like another 20. Like I've got almost all of them, and I think I went a little bit before 200, and I went a little bit after. I'm like to 310, but I'm only missing like 20 issues, and they're not like the super expensive ones. I've got most of the, I got Gambit, and I got Mr. Sinister, and I got a lot of those. So those are the ones that I've collected that I really love. As far as this channel and the way it goes, as a teacher and a dad, I just really like to share my love for comics and good stories and good artwork. And I've always been doing it with my daughters, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to just share it a little bit, just to kind of remind us all of the purpose of collecting these kinds of things. I know it's easy to get into the money and the profit, but it's also kind of fun to remember that, like, for most of us, it feels like this is connected to your childhood, to your experiences growing up, and that's what it is for me, for sure. There's an epic layer of nostalgia, whether it's the smell of a comic book, or whether it's the artwork that you look at and you're reminded of it, or whether it's a story arc where you're remembering, the Secret Wars and what happened to this character. There's just some really tangible nostalgia to it that I really love. So now to the unboxing. Sorry that I don't mean to wax rhapsodic there. So this comes from eBay. I was watching Comic Tom, as I'm sure most of you do. If you're not, please subscribe to Comic Tom 101, both on Instagram and on YouTube. He's really great, and he does all these great videos on not only like stories, like follow along on great stories. He and Ryan, who I've mentioned in some other videos, do some great breakdowns of, like, they're doing an Infinity Gauntlet, which is like 50. I didn't realize it was like a 51 issue kind of thing. So they've been doing breakdowns of the Infinity Gauntlet. They did a really fun one on an Ant-Man storyline called Second Chance Man, which is a great read as well. So those kind of breakdowns are kind of fun. And so anyways, Comic Tom is, check in on him, and they do a weekly top 10 books that are speculated to rise. And then just recently they did a whole catch-up on July on honorable mentions, books that also probably will have a similar chance to rise up. And right after I watched it, they had shown this one Moon Knight cover, and I was like, wow, what a really cool cover. Firstly, it was a really kind of great negative space kind of thing. And then they talked about how there's a variant in that there were a group of the issues that were like error printed. So I popped onto eBay while I was listening to it, and there was only one eBay error print for sale that I saw. And they said the error print could go $75 to, I think, $95. And the error print this guy was selling was for $30. So I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to get it. He said that the non-error print could go for $30. And I was like, well, then there. I'm just going to buy it as if it was the regular. And if it's any good, or if it's all messed up, we'll find out. Firstly, not a lot of padding. So that's not great. But there is some good cardboard. He did like some good backing. So hopefully that took all the damage. Oh, yeah, no, it's looking nice. And it is the error print. It definitely has the mistake. And yeah, it is a really bitchin' cover. Sorry if anybody doesn't like the cursing. I'm sorry about that. Just really nice use of negative space. I'm just going to leave it in the plastic here. So it's, let's see, special double issue of Moon Knight, issue 25. It's a real negative space-ish cover as far as like real black and white. You got the bar on this side, the bar on that side. And this is the error print, as they explained it, was this little dot right there. That one little dot qualifies it because apparently there were enough issues printed with that dot that it's an error print. Normally the issue goes in that, like I said, $35 range. But they said with the dot, could go up. I don't see any huge issues with it. Like it looks real clean. The edges look real clean. No big dents, no big dings. It looks really clear. I might just take it out of the bag because I'm going to rebag it and rebag and board it anyway. So why not give you guys a clean view of it? You can see it a little bit better. So the edges, as you can see, I mean, I see it's really clean all along here. The corner is really sharp. No big issues. I'm just seeing if there's anything attaching there. No, looks clean. It's hard with the black covers because you could easily get a lot of fingerprints. So I'm trying to be a little bit delicate with it while I still show you guys. There's a couple of, maybe I could probably press real easily. I don't know if it's going to go up in value. I just felt like, number one, if it goes up in value, awesome. Number two, just look at the cover. Like it's really different. And so that was my main purpose. It was really creepy and kind of fun. So that's why I got it. So thanks to Comic Tom and to Russ Millgeek Comics. Sorry, Russ Bright. I think they recommended this as one of many. But like, check into their videos because they're doing it, weekly, and then at the end of the month, a honorable mentions video. Well, that's it for me for now. I hope to do something maybe this weekend with the girls. They're both hitting the pool again today. It's been brutal here in California, so hot. Hope you guys take it easy, and I'll see you soon. Hit the like if you can, and subscribe if you haven't, and then leave a comment if there's a new book that you got or something that you're really excited with. Let me know.